Screen goes up. Let's take 3 deep breaths together to finish arriving. And as we do, I invite you to focus on your exhale, all right? So breathe in and breathe in. And one last time, in and welcome, friends. It is beautiful to see you all here this Sunday morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
I am really delighted to see all of you today. It was a cold morning getting up, so still can't hear me? How about now? Maybe? Okay. All right, so repeat. Good morning. It is really delightful to see all of you all here today because it was a very cold morning this morning. Getting out of bed was difficult. My name is Mike Owens. I use the pronouns he and him, and I have the delight of being your worship associate this morning. Also joining us in our service this morning is our minister, Reverend Gail Lindsay Mariner, and our piano virtuoso, Lydia Madrick. We're grateful also to our tech team in the back, Michael Morford, John Lehman, and Jim Asparro, who enable us to reach all of you, both at home and when you're away. To our staff, Aaron Levantman, Mary Kreutz, and Douglas Kramer, for all the things that they do. Our greeters and our welcomers, our parking lot monitors, our coffee makers and snack preparers, and everyone else who helps to make this morning happen. We're going to continue with our opening hymn, number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. We're going to do this as a round, 2 parts. So from Jim Kramer to that side will be one group, and from Carrie Kramer to this side will be our second group. So we're going to sing it once through together, and then we will start doing it as a round.
Twice through is a round. Friends, please be seated. Yay! Our opening words come from the Reverend Barbara Peskin. In this familiar place, listen to the sounds of breathing, of creaking chairs and clearing throats and shuffling feet, of sighing all around. Know that each breath, movement, the glance meant for you or intercepted holds a life within it. These are signs that we choose to be in this company. We have things to say to each other, things not yet said, but in each other's presence still, trembling behind our heart's doors, these doors that are closed but unlocked. Each silent thing inside of us waiting on the threshold between knowing and unknowing, between being hidden and being known. Find the silence in the midst of all these people and listen to it, all of it. The breathing and the sighs, the movement and the holding back, the tears that have not yet reached eyes, maybe they are your own. Hear also the laughter building deep inside, where joy abides despite everything. Listen in this window of time we spend together. Rejoice. And let us say, Amen.
The words for lighting our chalice are from Brian. Darkness. Nope. All right. So the words for lighting our chalice are from Brian Keeley. In times of darkness, we stumble towards the tiny flame. In times of cold, we seek the warming fire. In times of repression, we reach for the lamp of truth. In times of loss, we pray for the comforting light. In times of joy, we light a candle of celebration. Spirit of life, as we kindle this light, help us find what we need this day.
Oh, how many of you had a good Thanksgiving? Yeah. Did you connect with somebody you wanted to connect with? Did you eat something that triggered a memory from long ago? Did you get outside in the beautiful weather we've been having? Yeah. We're sort of today in that between space. You know, the Thanksgiving part of the holiday has ended or is ending, and the Christmas, Hanukkah, solstice, Kwanzaa part of it has yet to begin or is just on the edge of beginning. There are already 3 special candle holders on our chancel table. There's an Advent wreath, which is a candelabra used in the Christian holiday of Advent. There is a Hanukkah menorah, a Hanukkah with the white candles, which represents the Jewish holiday, which comes in about 2 weeks. And then there is a kinara on the far side, which is for the Kwanzaa holiday, which is sort of slides us right into the end of the holiday season. We're going to add some evergreen trees and some wreaths, and then we'll acknowledge the pagan Yule festivities. And we'll add some stars up here in the days to come, and that will be to connect us to our celebration of the cosmic walk, which connects us to our humanist and scientific side. As Unitarian Universalists, we ground our faith tradition in many sources: the direct experience of transcending mystery and wonder, the wisdom of the world's religion, the words of prophets across time and culture, the Enlightenment humanist admonishments to heed the wisdom of reason and science, the rich history of the Jewish and Christian traditions in which our faith is embedded, and the teachings of earth-centered religions that attune us to the rhythms of the natural world. That's a lot of sources and a lot of potential holidays. And how on earth are we going to celebrate them all? Or not? No way. Just don't have the stamina for it if I ever did. As we travel from Thanksgiving through Martin Luther King every year, we explore a number of these holidays. We never celebrate just one, and we never manage to celebrate all of them every year either. Now, those of you who were here last year will remember that Christmas and Hanukkah overlapped. And so on Christmas Eve, we had both stories present, and our friend Hazan Cindy from Hamakom helped us tell the Hanukkah story as part of our Christmas Eve service. And then you will also remember that our friends from the NAACP joined us the Sunday after and shared with us their celebration of Kwanzaa. Fabulous. It was so busy we really didn't have time to do much with Solstice or the Cosmic Walk, although we tried. This year, we're going to nod towards Hanukkah and towards Kwanzaa, and we're going to celebrate a different, slightly different, overlapping set of holidays. And you'll see there's a yellow sheet of paper. You don't have to grab one. That's our holiday calendar coming up. It's on yellow because that way you'd see it. But it will be on the website. It will come out in your newsletter. But you're welcome to take one if you're one of those folks who likes to put it on the fridge. All right. Since today is actually the very first day of Advent to the 4 Sundays that precede Christmas, technically it's the beginning of the Christian year. One meaning of Advent is beginning, the beginning of a thing. But it's also a time in the Christian tradition for waiting for the story to begin. So we have words from Erica Hewitt, who is a colleague who writes, many years ago, thousands of years ago, people in the Northern Hemisphere were thought to have gathered wreaths of evergreen and to have lit fires as signs of hope for the coming spring and renewed light. That tradition persisted into Christianity, and by the 16th century, the Advent wreath had gradually spread across many parts of the world. Today, Advent is the period of 4 Sundays that lead up to Christmas, and it's the time in the Northern Hemisphere when the days get shorter and shorter and shorter, and the night gets longer and darker. It's a time when people need the cheer brought by the promise of light and warmth. And so, as we light one more candle on our Advent wreath each Sunday, foreshadowing the returning light after the winter solstice, the candles remind us that fear and hopelessness recede as more warmth enters the world, and the flame of each new candle prompts us to know that more light is yet to come. So, Erica offers words from Benedictine monastic Macrina Wiederkehr, who says, I was just thinking one morning during prayer, how much alike hope and baking powder are. Quietly, getting what's best in me to rise, awakening the hint of eternity within. May this candle awaken what is best in us, connect us to mystery, and give life to our hopes. So, our Unitarian Universalist tradition is grounded in 2 heresies. Comes out of the Christian tradition, but it's grounded in 2 heretical beliefs. First, the Unitarian heresy, which insisted on the unity of God, the humanity of Jesus, and the fellowship in its language of man, or the fellowship of humankind. And the Universalist heresy that insisted that God loved all humankind and would never send anyone to hell. From those 2 heresies forward, Unitarian Universalists have prided ourselves in being heretics. Heretics simply meaning people who choose. People who don't accept anything at face value. People who need to think it through and then make a choice in what to do. We choose what we believe, how we will live, and at this time of the year, we choose what and how we are going to celebrate. Now, initially, our ancestors in Puritan New England did not celebrate at all at this time of year. As far as they were concerned, the resurrection was the big story in Christianity, and all the festivals at winter solstice were pagan debauchery. They fined any person who took the day off, or lit candles, or brought evergreens into their homes. So, if you happen to be one of those folks who is a Christmas abstainer, then there's space for you within Unitarian Universalism. But there's also space in our midst for those who revel in this holiday called Christmas. Several generations after the Puritan Unitarians and Universalists several generations after the Puritans, Unitarians and Universalists were among the Christians who redesigned the entire holiday, especially here in the United States. They were early adopters of the Christmas tree, which was brought here to Germany, and Fallen Church, which is a Unitarian Universalist church in the greater Boston area in Fallen, claims to have been the location of the first Christmas tree lit on American soil. We don't know if that's true, but we do know they still sell Christmas trees every year. They were prolific writers of Christmas carols and Christmas stories. Over the River and Through the Woods, Unitarian. Jingle Bells, Unitarian. Dickens' Christmas Carol, the first thing the man wrote after he converted to Unitarianism. All of these things. Well, and then there's that passage at the beginning of Little Women. Louisa May Alcott was Unitarian, and so was the rest of her family. And if you can go back to your childhood memories or to the movie you took your granddaughter to, the story opens with the mother encouraging the daughters to take their breakfast on Christmas Day to a poor family who has just had a new baby. All of these were intended to relocate that holiday from the streets and the public houses, and from being kind of a riotous celebration in the streets, to being in the home, focused on children, okay? That was part of the intent. The early Unitarians and Universalists had an acute social conscience, which they expressed at Christmas time through generosity to the poor and advocacy for peace. And if you love the story of the angels and shepherds and the child in the manger and peace on earth, goodwill to all, there's room for you here at UU Santa Fe in our celebration of the Christmas traditions. Now, after World War II and the Humanist Manifesto, and then after the second wave of humanism, humanists, feminists, and neo-pagans brought solstice and Yule into our Unitarian Universalist circles. These were Christmas-adjacent kinds of festivities that these groups of Unitarians felt were more aligned with scientific reason, non-patriarchal relationships, and earth-focused values. So that means that if you're a humanist or a feminist or a pagan, there's room for you celebrating whatever holiday it is you celebrate at this time of year. Now, as fellow monotheists, Unitarian and Jewish communities supported each other across the United States for many, many years. And as Unitarian Universalists advocated for the abolition of slavery and then the civil rights movement, our communities supported our African American neighbors as Kwanzaa observances were created and celebrated and evolved. And of course, I mentioned earlier Last year, we celebrated these holidays with both our Jewish and our NAACP neighbors. And if they're part of your celebrations, you are welcome here. And then, you'd think we would have hit it all by now, but then there are the secular, artistic, cultural, and commercial elements of the holidays, right? The concerts, the theater productions, the craft fair, all of those things that were advertised in Feliz Navidad, in the Feliz Navidad insert in the New Mexican this weekend. So many choices, so many different sensibilities. All of these form the fabric of the season. There are as many ways to celebrate as there are people. And I think for us, as Unitarian Universalists, the key to having a good holiday in the month or 6 weeks ahead is to draw upon our heretical ancestry and actually choose what it is each of us and all of us together are going to do. Our next hymn helps us in the transition between Thanksgiving and the next holiday, Advent, and offers us some things we might celebrate in the weeks to come. So it's in the Gray Book, it's number 69, Give Thanks. Please rise as you're willing and able. Please sit down. And let's hope that those ways that have made it a land for the free get revised and focused and continue in the best possible sense.
Each Sunday, we place 4 stones in our chalice to help us remember the future we are working for. The mountain-shaped stone prompts us to imagine a world where this place where we gather, called in Tewa Okepoke, or White Shell Place, is cared for joyfully by the descendants of its ancestral occupants, together with those who have come to love it and dwell in it. The geode inspires us to imagine where peace is endemic and war is a thing from the distant past, understood as an acute and deplorable failure of the imagination. The ancient fossil-studded stone helps us imagine a world thriving in the midst of climate change, a world where human participation contributes to a biosphere that is vibrant and diverse and deeply alive. The layered stone asks us to imagine that the vein of quartz that divides it actually holds it together. May it help us imagine a time when the difference between us are understood as boundaries that connect us. We honor these boundaries and our differences and use democratic processes to ensure that all of us thrive. These dreams of respect and peace, of a healthy planet and a robust democracy become realities when we and other good-hearted people around the world work together to unravel racism, mend generational patterns of violence, fight for democracy, and learn to live peacefully and regeneratively on our planet. May we find joy and meaning in these.
Thank you, Mike. So we set aside a time each Sunday morning, or almost every Sunday morning, for the sharing of joys and sorrows. The joys illuminate the shadows when we're having a hard time and are multiplied when we share them. The sorrows are simply easier to bear when our community knows what's going on and can rally around us. So Larry Metzger is recovering well after surgery last week. Lynn Raymond is also recovering well after a small stroke and a lot of rehab. He's down in Albuquerque. Nancy Dimmitt is also in skilled nursing and rehab down in Albuquerque. She is recovering, making slow progress. And Mary Nykerk is also in Albuquerque recovering, and it is her birthday. She writes, "I am enjoying all the birthday greetings. Thank you. They mean so much to me." So with all of these folks, letters, cards, calls, cell phones are wonderful things, although I understand Nancy has locked herself out of her cell phone. So cards might be better in that case. And Elizabeth can help you with an address if you need that. We also have a concern from Terry Knickerbocker, who says his eldest son is home following a surgery for pancreatic cancer. And his younger son is hospitalized still with sepsis. Oh, Terry, we're so sorry. All right. From Elizabeth, please stop at the card writing table in the foyer to sign birthday cards for Nancy and Mary and for Brett Brunson. And if you haven't signed up for our holiday, I don't know exactly what the right word is. I guess it's a brunch or a feast or a potluck. Please stop at the welcome table and do so. Or you can do it on the homepage if you're watching from home and are able to be with us next week. I'm not sure whether next Sunday is brunch theater or dinner theater or table worship, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and I encourage you to come. We have additional birthdays coming up this week. Signe Stewart, Cameron Duncan, and Mary Ellen Gonzalez are all celebrating. Happy birthday to all of you. Let me just... Oh, so many messages. I want to save that one. As you know, there's a healthcare provider shortage in New Mexico. Advocacy and Democracy has provided a letter to the governor asking her to include this issue in her call for the 2026 legislative session. Please sign that letter in the foyer if you are interested. And they are hosting a resistance lab on immigration in the library today at noon. We did that one. Yes. So one of the great pleasures, and I think I say this every Sunday, of being here in Santa Fe is that people come to visit. Some of them are people who come from Santa Fe. Some of them come from other parts of New Mexico, and some come from far, far away. If you are visiting this morning and I call your hand and you are feeling so inclined, go ahead and wave. And even if you don't wave, we're going to try and say hello after the service, okay? So from Santa Fe, we have Linda and Gary Bennell. Yay, welcome. We have Carolyn Grosso from Milwaukee. Yay, welcome. We have Alan Rose from Rancho Viejo and Lloyd from Santa Fe. We have Kathy and Jim Ramsey from Huntsville, Texas. Welcome. And Shelley Shores from Santa Fe and Jane Ash from Los Cruces. Welcome. All right. We are glad that you are here with us. Oh, we didn't light any candles. Mike? Please light one candle for all of the joys. Oh, you better make it a big one.
Normally do so.
And one candle for all the sorrows. And one candle for all the joys and sorrows that we carry in our hearts as yet unspoken. All right. Whew. And now, if you would please join me in singing Spirit of Life. It's 123 in the Gray Book, or you can just follow along. Resting now on the echoes of the music, let's move into a time of quiet and contemplation. I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, to take a deep breath, and as you exhale, to let your body relax, to consciously release any tension or tiredness, any dis-ease or discomfort that you might be carrying. Breathe. And let that tension exit your body on your breath. And let the sun and the wind and the earth dissolve it. Breathe. And let your thoughts drift. Breathe. And let your heart soften and open. Let it unfold and stretch until it can cradle all of the sorrows and joys that we have heard, all of the worry and anxiety, all of the beauty and the joy that are part of being human in our time. Breathe. And as we rest together in the quiet, I invite you to become aware of the people who are sitting around you and of the people who are watching online, and to know that you do not have to carry the burden of being human by yourself. You are held in a web of affection and regard and respect, a web of love that stretches from person to person within this community and beyond. Breathe. And as we settle into the quiet, I invite you to listen to these words. Go ahead and start this day with gratitude. Add a little bit of nostalgia and some happy memories. and the recollection of heartbreak and remorse. Add some music, touching the cockles of your heart and the recesses of your imagination. And story after story after story of humankind surviving the dark and helping one another. Every morning, weave together some love and compassion with a little bit of ritual and some generosity. Gather friends and loved ones and leave some open spaces for the lost and the lonely around your table. Fill your nights with stars and candlelight and firelight. Smell the winter air, the pinon smoke, the baking treats. And at this season, where one year ends and another is born, choose to act for love and justice. And may your every action embody the future that is waiting to be born. Amen, and blessed be.
Let's just pretend that my face is red because it's cold outside, shall we? Our reading comes from Mark Ward. As chill winds blast the last autumn leaves from the trees, we gather with new purpose. In each other's company, we find warmth against the approach of winter's cold. We look to the bounty of harvest to sustain us while the earth sleeps. And we attend again to the wider circles of relationship, reminded of the connections on which we all depend. In each face, some softening with age, some blooming into maturity, we see the human story revealed, the journey we each walk from mystery to mystery. There is cause for gratitude for the love we share, even if imperfect and not always fully realized. Every day of our journeys, we are given new opportunities to accept and to give love.
Thank you, Mike. So given all the options available, how one navigates the holiday season is going to be informed by a whole bunch of different things. Among them, each person's religious history, right? Your family traditions, your particular values, and your holiday style. Now, the last is said only partly in jest, because really I don't know that there's such a thing as a holiday style. I made it up. But I made it up because I have noticed in watching people in UU congregations over the years that for some people, the holiday is all about the presents. That's especially the little guys, right? And for other people, it's about the music, or the decorations, or the stories, or the rituals. For others, it's about bundling up and going outside and playing in the dark with all of those lights. Or it's about sharing their wealth and their resources with people in need. And each of these different groups prioritizes a different piece of the menu of holiday options that are out there. And they celebrate in their own particular way with their own particular style. So I think in the little squib I wrote, I said you could be a traditionalist or an eclectic or a maximalist or a minimalist or maybe an activist, and that those were all ways to celebrate the holiday. I think of a traditionalist as someone who chooses just one of all those many holiday options, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or solstice, and they keep their focus right there. That's what they celebrate. I think of a holiday eclectic as someone who weaves together several different traditions or elements from different traditions that have a personal meaning. And so they might balance public and private, secular and sacred. The eclectic might serve hot lunch at the Salvation Army on the third Tuesday in December. Watch for the sign-up sheet next week. Or buy tickets to go hear the Gay Men's Chorus, or watch the Nutcracker. And they might walk in Canyon Road on Christmas Eve. The pieces that resonate for them as an individual. A maximalist in either of those camps goes all out. You know, all the food, all the gifts, all the parties. Whereas a minimalist curates what's going on and goes to essence, keeping only the things that best express the meanings that are closest to their particular hearts. And so a minimalist might celebrate the holiday just by tuning the radio to a sympathetic station as they watch the snow fall and write checks to good causes. In any case, they let the public festivities, the cultural brouhaha, kind of swirl around their island of calm. I think we need both maximalists and minimalists. We need the people who know how to party, and we need the ones who keep that island of calm, because so many of us need that in the midst of the holiday whirlwind. Now, I tend to be a holiday eclectic, or I wouldn't have lasted long in a Unitarian Universalist church. I have lots of different theologies that get woven into my festivities. Any maximalist tendencies I have are expressed here at UU. And as a result, my family holidays tend to be rather minimalist. When I think about our shared UU Santa Fe calendar, I'm aware of my own nostalgia, the happy memories I have of candlelight Christmas Eves and family celebrations and school vacation with snow. And I really want some of that for all of us in the holidays we celebrate together. And I think about the various holiday traditions that are part of our UU heritage and history. And how are we going to balance the needs of UUs who carry hurts from the Christian traditions they grew up in, with the needs of the Unitarian Universalists who grew up unchurched, with the needs of UUs who retain a fondness for the holiday, even though they ended up as Unitarian Universalists. And so I try to make sure there's a place for that Christian story in our holiday. But we juxtapose it with other traditions and celebrations so that the Christian part of these winter holidays doesn't become too monolithic. If you are someone who would like to unpack the Christmas part of this holiday season with some Christmas-friendly Unitarian Universalists, Reverend Michael and Leslie and I are going to be hosting a conversation at 2 p.m. on Sunday, December 14th in the library. You are welcome to come. Please bring some meaningful holiday memories with you. Living as we do, in a place that does get colder and darker at this time of year, I find that I crave more light. Anybody else a light seeker here? Yeah, you need those little mood lights that sit on your desk and shine in your face in the morning, and as many Christmas sparkles and lights as you can get to plug in without flipping the circuit, right? Sometimes we just crave light. In earlier times, darkness and cold and solitude meant death. Because human beings need other human beings to survive in the cold and the dark. And as the reading Mike offered mentioned, our midwinter celebrations and with their gatherings and their gifting strengthen the ties that hold us in community and help us get through the dark and the cold and make it until spring. So solstice and the cosmic walk are part of invoking or evoking the light. And then there's all this business about peace on earth and goodwill to all. The call to do something, to feed the hungry and shelter the outcast and the homeless, to welcome the stranger, and to build a better tomorrow. We do this in community, so you don't have to do it all by yourself, although you can, and are much encouraged to do so. We're going to honor the call towards peace on earth and goodwill to all, with gifts from many mothers, both on the first Sunday and on Christmas Eve, and with meals for the Arroyo Chamizo micro-community over at Christ Lutheran, and a thank you to everyone who brought food on Thanksgiving morning to provide Thanksgiving for the 20 people or so who live in the micro-community. This is a transitional housing program that the city runs. And we are going to be participants. So we're going to feed them. We feed them every holiday. LifeLink provides food during the week. There's a food truck here in Santa Fe, and I keep meaning to ask them which one so we can patronize them, because they provide food every weekend. The micro-community folks, free of charge. And then we provide food whenever there's a holiday, or a holiday and the next day. Sorry about the twitching. That must be the connection on the microphone. We'll be providing food, that means, for both Christmas and New Year's. But there's also a new program that I am helping to coordinate here in Santa Fe. When Pete's Place transitioned to become Agape House, they changed the model, okay? It used to be run mostly by volunteers with lots of input from the churches, and there was a time when we would provide meals 7 nights in a row for about 150 people, and it went from congregation to congregation to congregation. Agape House doesn't use volunteers. Their program is really good at what it does, which is dealing with the folks who are struggling with addiction, which was one of the challenges that Pete's Place always had. But they're not feeding as many people. They feed 89 people dinner. That's the number of beds they have at the shelter. So that means another 40 to 60 people who used to be being fed aren't being fed. And it's been fascinating because a whole host of ad hoc volunteer efforts have been popping up across Santa Fe. The Burrito Brigade provides 100 burritos twice a week. They cook in the kitchen at the Commons, and they cook in the kitchen at Westminster Presbyterian. Advent Life Church provides crazy cereal breakfast on Sunday morning in one of the parks, and a Sunday lunch midday. We're starting a program where we're inviting congregations that used to serve, or groups that used to serve at Pete's Place, to adopt one day a month. And we're starting with Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So Tuesdays through the month of December have already been adopted. First Pres will do the first Tuesday. Westminster Pres will do the second Tuesday. UU Santa Fe is scheduled for the third Tuesday. Temple Beth Shalom has the fourth Tuesday. And a group of friends from the Christian Science congregation will take the fifth Tuesday. This week, I'm starting to call and recruit people to take Wednesdays so that in January we'll have Tuesday and Wednesday, and in February we'll have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they're all being served at the Salvation Army because need knows no theological boundaries. So watch for more information on how you can participate in feeding our neighbors over the holiday season. It's a lot of stuff. There's no way to do it all. And because of that, what happens to me when I don't deliberately choose what I want to do is that I end up double booked. That doesn't happen to any of you, does it? Yeah, I end up double booked, and somehow I miss out on some of the things I particularly love. Now, I don't expect you to participate in everything UU Santa Fe does. But I encourage you to come to those things which speak to you. And I want to invite you this week, rather than sitting back and letting the larger culture or your mother-in-law or your father-in-law or UU Santa Fe take charge of all your holidays, I invite you to take a little time. Maybe put on some Christmas music or Hanukkah music or solstice music or whatever makes your heart sing. And to reminisce and page through the various holiday calendars and invitations that you might have received and talk to your beloveds and figure out just a few things that will make your heart sing, that you will regret missing if you don't show up for them. Add a little support to make the world a better place. Think about what will give you lovely memories. And then when you've done that and you've penciled those things in, circle at least 3 days in the next month and don't put anything on them at all. You can use them for a quiet moment, or you can use them to slip in one of those things you forgot to put on the calendar. It's up to you. I wish for you, my friends, a wonderful holiday season. And I look forward to us celebrating all of it together. May it be so. All right, let's see. Lydia, we have music. You are invited to sing along with this one if you want to, but there are no lyrics anywhere in the room. So just listen. Thank you, Lydia.
Good morning. I'm Adam Wasserman. I'm a member of your board. Well, as Reverend Gale just reminded us, that this Christmas season, there are lots of sort of new traditions that pop up pretty frequently, and one of them, a good one, I think, is coming up 2 days from now. It's called Giving Tuesday, right? How many of you know about Giving Tuesday, right? And it's where you're being asked to, donate to good causes. And as I said, it's a good thing, but it's also a bit maybe overwhelming. If you're like me, you're getting dozens and hundreds of solicitations from all kinds of excellent organizations and causes, and how do you know which ones are really the best ones? How do you know that they're really doing what they say they're doing? Psychologists call this situation some choice paralysis. You can end up like frozen. I don't know what to do. So I'm going to suggest that if you're in that situation, there's a very good option right in front of you called UU Santa Fe. And you can give your treasure here, and you know exactly what it's going to go for. It's going to go for our wonderful staff and our terrific services and our social justice work and our classes and all the other excellent things here. Now, don't get me wrong, there are many, many other good organizations and causes that I hope you will consider. But if you find that on Tuesday or in this season you're hit by choice paralysis, just think of this option that you have right here. And we will now go around with our baskets, and all of your donations will gratefully be accepted.
Thank you, Lydia.
Our closing words are by Robert Mabry Doss. When giving thanks comes hard for you, and things are grim, and hope runs thin, recall. Despair's a door to pass on through, and not a home for living in. When thanksgiving fills your cup, and those you love are all about, look at your blessings and count them up, and give back something to the world without. Go in peace. Go for peace. For all who see God, may God go with you. For all who embrace life, may life return your affection. For all who seek a right path, may a way be found, and the courage to take it step by step. Amen.
Amen. Would you please join hands with the folks who are sitting near you? And we will say our hand-holding benediction together. May love and skill be in our hands. May love and courage fill our hearts. May love and wisdom light our minds. May love flow through us and walk among us. As we live our lives and work to heal our world. Amen, shalom, namaste, blessed be. Assalamu alaikum, ashe, aho. Please turn and greet your neighbor and enjoy the rest of the holiday. Thank you for joining us today, friends. We hope that you enjoyed today's service. Please take a little time and explore our website and visit our online welcome table if you'd like to know more about us. Otherwise, we'll see you next Sunday morning. Stay in touch and be well.